So for the last few days, I've been playing a lot of lethal. Probably have 25 or 30 runs under my belt. Not all victories, of course, especially not on the new Biotitan map. It's freaking hard. But I'm playing a lot of heavy, and this baby, this beautiful big-ass bolter, has reaffirmed itself as a fantastic and incredibly entertaining weapon. I've seen the light, Battle Brothers. Now, if you're an experienced heavy player, you probably already knew this gun was really good. Nothing has changed on that front. I am not dropping hyper-exclusive knowledge here or pretending like I figured out stuff that y'all haven't. But there's a lot to talk about with this weapon and why it's such a good choice on lethal. Don't get me wrong, the heavy plasma dev is amazing right now. You can put like 4 or 5 Majoris enemies into ride with a single shot. Multi-Melta 2, it's a mindless oh shit button that clears the screen and staggers everything. Super easy to clutch with just by spamming the trigger. You really can't go wrong with any of these options when fat rolling around in Gravis armor. By the way, devs have confirmed that the Warson dodge roll and evasion right now in this patch is unintended, but it really does feel like fat rolling in Souls games. It's bad, and I do expect it will be reverted in the coming patch. Be that as it may, the Heavy Bolter has amongst the fastest time to kills in the game across all 4 enemy categories, from Minoris to Terminus. Deletes Swarms? Check. Murders Majoris? No doubt. Slaughters Extremis? Yup. Terminates Terminus? You betcha. So it is a versatile weapon that can deal with a multitude of threats at a bunch of different ranges, quickly eliminating chaff before bursting through the bigger targets. And clearing out that chaff quickly is actually really important because Minoris hordes right now, on lethal especially, are very threatening. They will chunk you very quickly because you're not going to have armor, and when you don't have armor, things hurt. Everything hurts. There is a big caveat here, and it's something many of you notice when using it at lower levels. It takes a little bit to get going. The first couple tiers are not bad. Well, okay, the white bolter is probably bad. But past that, the green and purple, not bad, not amazing. As you've seen in some of my patch overview gameplay, I was doing solid damage and completely capable of clearing Ruthless with green or purple tier heavy bolter, but they weren't incredible. Even more importantly than that though, accuracy is the be-all and end-all of this weapon. If you hit headshots consistently, it is very powerful and very fun to use. If you don't, it can feel somewhat underwhelming. I have reliably been dropping 25 to 30,000 damage a game using this loadout, which more than competes with the output you'd expect from Multi-Melta or Plasma. But indie pride, you say? Hitting headshots isn't that easy on a weapon that has massive bloom, and it's just meant to be used as a bullet hose firing into hordes. It's not inherently an accurate weapon. And while that's certainly true initially, the weapon archetype changes substantially the second you get into Relic tier. The Gathalamor Crusade Alpha variant goes from 1 accuracy to 4 accuracy, and it is without question in my mind the best option for Heavy Bolter, even over the higher damage and more ammo variants. It's a complete game changer. It makes the aiming reticle tiny and the bloom when firing almost unnoticeable, which means more headshots and more benefit from that 4 times multiplier, which means you shred every target in the game. Couple things to keep in mind though. Number 1, you don't always want to be holding the trigger down. This is a mistake I have personally made plenty of times in other games, from Deep Rock Galactic to Darktide, with the heavy bolters, stubbers, what have you. It is super fun to hold down that trigger and just keep blasting, and sometimes that's even the correct call. But more often than not, it means wasting bullets as you traverse from one target to the next. 1 mass reactive shell from this thing can kill 2 gaunts with the Perpetual Penetration perk. Actually, it might be more than that. I don't know what the default penetration rate for the Heavy Bolter is. I imagine it has some, so it might be more like 3 or 4. I don't know. Either way, 1 round can kill a lot of stuff in a swarm. You can wipe out an entire swarm of gaunts in like 20 bullets with proper aim, probably even less. So burst firing is a great way to maintain accuracy and control to ensure that you pop those domes every single time you pull the trigger. Standard modus operandi for me, when a big time horde is descending on the squad, is to fully unload and build that heat up to 50% or past that for the thermal boost, 15% extra range damage, then to begin tap firing or holding down depending where the heat gauge is. If I drop below 50%, gonna hold it down until it's up above that, let it go, tap fire, and you can shred through anything. It's a great way to both manage ammo consumption, force higher accuracy, and maintain that high heat bonus without putting the weapon on cooldown. If you're in heavy stance, benefiting from the 2 heavy might 15% extra damage perks while aimed, and are above 50% heat with a thermal boost perk, you will shred Majoris, Extremis, or Terminus, no questions asked. Rubric Marines, Warriors, Terminators, Bosses, it does not matter. Hit the head and they will cry. But while the Heavy Bolter can reach out and accurately burst down high value targets from range, it still maintains some good power when those oh shit moments hit and you become completely surrounded without a lot of room to maneuver. In hip fire stance, without aiming, it will not build heat at the cost of a slower fire rate. So you can Rambo it up. Hip firing at head level, ignoring Minoris hits because your contested health will instantly refill, while swinging left to right, right to left, and reaping skulls non-stop. Unlike some other range options in the game, the Heavy Bolter does not really suffer from point-blank engagements, and of course you have really easy access to that stomp, which will give you space as well. So if you're not really feeling like trading, just do that combo, heavy, heavy, stomp, stomp. That'll create some space. You'll be role-playing as a salamander in no time, and then you can blast everything as you get maybe 5-10 meters of space to shoot. Vulcan lives. Stomp, stomp. Now, obviously, it's not going to be as good as the Melta in that role, but I'd argue at Relic tier, the Heavy Bolter is just as good as the Multi-Melta when played well overall. Because while the Melta is an incredible get-off-me button that can stagger everything and create space when you're getting overrun, it obviously cannot reach out and touch anything past, like, 5 meters, right? The stagger, control, and point-blank deletion is incredible on that Melta gun, but the Heavy Bolter prevents those situations from happening in the first place and is more than capable of defending your entire team when surrounded too. So let's take a look at the build I've been running. The important weapon perks here are increased capacity for 20% extra reserve, headshot damage, and perpetual penetration, which turns it into a horde clear beast. The spread decreases synergize super well with the accuracy buff on Gathalamor Alpha, but the heavy might perks for 15% extra damage in heavy stance bring it all together. With thermal boost, that is 45% extra damage without even thinking about it, just for firing your weapon properly. On the perk tree, Restoration is especially nice on lethal because armor's at a premium. Thermal Boost is great stacked with the Heavy Might perks, as we just said. 15% extra damage on top of the 30 from those two in Heavy Stance. 10% more range damage from Overwhelming Power while Iron Halo is up and active. Additional supplies for more ammo. You're going to want that. Dealer's Choice in row 5, they can all be quite useful. I've been running Consecutive Execution just because I like to make Melt-A-Bomb or Grenade plays, and getting those back on occasion is fun. It's really easy for you to kill 10 enemies in quick succession, so it means every 3 minutes you get a grenade back, and that means if you had a Melt-A-Bomb and you just killed an entire horde with it, by the way, Melt-A-Bomb on lethal, extremely good, because you'll often run into like 8-10 warriors, mix in with a horde, drop that, it'll kill everything. Fantastic. But you get a Melt-A-Bomb back if you kill 10 enemies with it, so you get 2. It's really good. But if you don't want to run that, extra armor for the squad is super nice when Halo expends its energy. That's going to go further in lethal because, of course, armor is at a premium. And then there's more Halo durability, more range damage when Halo's on cooldown, and ability recharge rate for the boys in the signature row. Not as hard and fast in terms of skills with the heavy class as opposed to some of the others. Not all of them are super obvious picks. You do have some choices. Again, do what you want, do what you like. But this setup is well-rounded and really helps the Heavy Bolter pop off. It's a build that revolves around perpetual penetration and stacking damage sources, turning the Heavy Bolter into an absolute monster. It is a high skill cap blender. Certainly not as mindless as the Melta, but does a bunch of things that the Melta cannot. It can kill bosses quickly. It can kill Zoanthropes quickly, which have become one of the most annoying and dangerous enemies in the game, even more so than pre-patch. And it kills important targets from across the map, which the Melta obviously cannot do, without sacrificing too hard on the up-close DPS. Again, hip fire, point-blank range, gonna work wonders for you. I personally think the Heavy Bolter is a great option for any difficulty, especially once you get to Relic tier. And if you're looking for a fun option that can help the team out on lethal, you should definitely give it a shot. The Iron Halo pays huge dividends there, as long as you tell your teammates to play around it. With halfway decent aim, I think a lot of y'all will find yourselves topping the scoreboard in terms of damage, while also providing those intangibles that help the team succeed. Quickly eliminating mixed hordes and being a mobile shield wall that prevents squad mates from taking unnecessary chip damage when they're out of armor. I'll leave you all with a couple more clips from Lethal. Hope y'all enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next one. Any Pride, signing out for now. Have a good one, guys.
Changes suspended. Nullify the back before it burns more enemies.
Awakening this system moves us closer to slaughtering the tyrants. Search out the consoles.
Friendly Goliath issue. Fail that hope. The fortress remains sealed.
The storm has dissipated.
The lights will guide us through. I am here, friend.
Now the Xenon fire form eliminated.
Atmospheric conditions have returned to normal.